Welcome to the Power Hour Panel Talk, where we go live with current events. Hey guys, happy Tuesday! Happy Tuesday!
Feliz
Happy
martes.
Tuesday,
Feliz
Wade.
martes.
Hello, how we doing?
What you drinking over there?
Oh, that would be I'm going to screw the name up, but it's an Irish single malt whiskey. Yep.
Good for today.
That's right.
Oh man, so we have lots going on. So today Mel is actually in her car. She's driving down from LA back down to San Diego, and so she's stuck in traffic, but she's going to be coming in and out probably, and we'll see if she'll jump in. But if not, that's okay, because we have a lot to cover today. So, wow, the big news today. The big trial of the year just went down today. The verdict came in. You heard about the verdict?
Yes, that he was guilty.
Guilty. All three counts. So, Wade, what do you think?
So the only thing I can say is the same thing that I've told everybody. You know, justice is it. This is not justice. This is a railroading. I wasn't in the trial. I wasn't listening to the evidence. But as an outside party, here's what I see. I see an individual that caused a global outrage. And I see an individual that nowhere in the world would get a fair and impartial trial from. So justice to me is the review of the evidence that leads to a conclusion, whether that is guilty or innocent. In this case, I think there was a lot of pressure and political pressure to give a guilty verdict, whether or not the person was or was not guilty, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I think in this case that people realized that if they did not find him guilty, that there would be a lot of repercussions worldwide over this. And I'm not saying that he's not guilty. What I'm saying is I don't think that there's anywhere in the world he could have went and had a impartial trial, if that makes sense.
Maybe in Alaska. I don't know.
I don't even think there. They would have just fed him to the bears.
Yeah. Well, you know, they say proven innocent until proven guilty, and they got the guilty part. But I, for one, am glad that this happened. I think that there's going to be a lot of reassurance now and a little bit more rest right now. But I'm hoping that, you know, when dark time comes, that's when maybe protests will start going again. I don't know, but I think it was a good call today. Good call.
I think everybody was waiting for this result, this verdict, because there is a lot of bad emotions about this, what happened last year. So I think I'm pretty sure that maybe 75% of the country, they're really happy because they know they've been doing, we've been having issues like this for how many years. So I think it's a good thing. To me, the way I see this verdict, I think it's more excited than when Biden was become a president. To me, it's better. You know,
excitement, right?
Yeah, excitement.
So, guys, share your opinions and comments down below, and we will check them out. What do you think? How did you feel when you heard that guilty verdict? And Melissa, of course, Mel is saying justice was served. Yes, I agree. I totally agree. But now, what's going to happen in a couple weeks?
Yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't served. I'm just saying I think that there was a whole lot of political pressure to lean one way, as witnessed by Maxine Walters and Joe Biden. Those are the kind of people that should not have been interjecting. Any president or sitting leader should not be interjecting into a process like this.
I agree. And yeah, Maxine Waters, you know, she was saying a lot of crap. Right?
He's given them plenty of opportunity for appeal now.
Oh, well, you know it's going to happen. Well, and now in a couple weeks, the sentencing will be determined. But I mean, all three counts, each one of them could go to 12 years each, up to 12 years each. So, yeah, crazy. But, you know, he's getting what he deserved. I mean, nobody could or should be able to do that, for 9.5 minutes, put a leg on your neck. No way. 9.5 minutes. That's long. That is
See,
long.
and here goes back to the, actually, Joanna, I'm pretty much saying that, yes. So let's again, I wasn't there. I didn't hear all the evidence, but from the outside, what I see is a whole lot of pressure for these jurors to find him guilty no matter what the evidence said, because this was such a worldwide event. So can you imagine being on a jury of 12 and you're sitting there around a table, and I can only speculate at this point that conversation had to come up. Can you imagine if the evidence had pointed towards he wasn't guilty, and the conversation comes up, how is the world going to react if we don't find him guilty? These are just questions that come to my mind with all of this pressure coming from the different areas. And I'm not saying that any of this happened. Don't get me wrong, Joanna. I'm not saying that he was innocent. I thoroughly believe he should not have done what he did. What I'm saying is for our justice system to work properly, it has to be contained inside of where the trial is, and it cannot be influenced unduly by outside sources like Maxine Waters and Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm. Well, I personally agree or believe that the overwhelming evidence was purely there, and the evidence was there, and it showed definitely that he was guilty. So it was very popular. What do you think?
But they haven't fixed the root cause of the problem either. Okay, so yeah, he's
right?
guilty.
There's so many shootings going on right now too, and
It's not
we'll
even
talk about
shootings.
that in a few minutes.
It's not even the shootings. Let's talk about this. You're walking down the street and you see an officer kneeling on somebody's neck. What are your options?
Me personally, if I saw that, I would say get off him.
You really don't have any options, because even yelling at him to get off him or getting in his face could be construed as interfering with him, and you can go to jail for it. Let's say he's really going.
Evidence. That's why everybody was filming, so that's a good thing. And
yeah, but nobody stepped in because nobody can do anything about it, is my point. Let's say you're walking down the street. Okay, you're yelling at him. He's still kneeling on his neck. What's your yelling actually done? Nothing. You go put your hands on that cop, you're guaranteed to go to jail for assault. There is no way for you as an individual to stop them. Now, with that being said, you know who can stop them? Their partners.
Yep.
Their partners.
They're going to be on trial right after this. Yep. They're about to be on trial.
That's what I asked her. How about
the
other guys?
Nope, they got separate trials going on.
My point comes down to this. So yeah, we had a global event that related in all these riots, peaceful protests, whatever the hell you wanted to call them. All right. Then we had this trial where justice was served under a lot of political pressure. But you haven't changed anything. You haven't stopped the next kneeling on the neck. You haven't stopped the next injustice.
Well, there's definitely have to be some reform in the police department for sure.
And I know it's really painful the way he died, but I saw some officers before that they put their knee on their head too.
Yeah.
And they put pressure on their head against the grass or the concrete or
Right.
And so the only person who can stop that is the other cops that are there, whether it's that person's partner or the other ones that show up.
Right.
Policing themselves has always been a problem.
Yep. And Joanna says, it's so sad that we had to go through such a roller coaster of emotions, waiting for an outcome that was crystal clear from the beginning. I agree. But again, that's what a trial's for, right? And Melissa says there was a lot of political pressure for the jury to do the right thing. But the reason the jury found him guilty was because the evidence was there.
So
I personally believe he's guilty. Don't get me wrong. I believe he did the wrong thing. But I'm just saying I want to make sure that our political system has not influenced our judicial system, because once it does, that is a slippery slope that we cannot come back from.
Right. Right. Yeah. And Johanna says, well, just this verdict is a step to a major change. I agree. I agree. You know, the thing is right now, though, the shootings have to stop, though, as well. Let's move on to these shootings. I mean, a 13-year-old just got shot. I mean, you know, this is just getting out of hand, really out of hand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So my admin, Hannah, is in England.
Mm-hmm.
And she sent me an article the other day, and I think you might find this interesting, that right now a lot of people in England are protesting knives and knife control and how mental reviews for knives and things like that, because they don't have guns. They're not allowed weapons legally. They're all over the street from illegal reasons, but that's a different subject for later. So now they're protesting knives because knives are legal, because the people who do not have weapons of opportunity use knives to take that opportunity. So where does it stop? It stops with the person. It's not the weapon. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a gun. It could be a knife. Hell, it could be a bat.
Oh.
People are going to find a way to inflict violence.
Right.
The only way to stop it is with good people fighting that violence in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, even Johanna saying a 7-year-old was killed in a drive-through. You know, it's a shame. That's wrong. That's so wrong.
Oh, I'd lose my mind. I'm going after someone. I'm going to jail.
I think you would too, after they catch you. Right? Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. I know, you know, even in our city here, I took my car to get fixed at his friend's house, and just going in that neighborhood, I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, I mean, any minute something's going to happen. That's just what it feels like these days. Where's the shooting going to start, right? Where's that drive-by shooting going to start? It's getting worse and worse. It really is in major cities.
Well, you when you go on the street, you never know who's going to be walking next to you.
That's true.
Or, you know, what just happened in Ontario. It was a big explosion. You know, you can live in a good neighborhood, but you never know what they have in those houses.
Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, you know, I equate shooting violence, again, always to people. Always to people. It doesn't matter what you've used. I've seen people use rocks. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. Now, some people bring the argument of, well, you can limit it by limiting guns. Well, you could say the same thing for cars. You could say the same thing for bats. You could say the same thing for knives. You can always say the same thing. Mm-hmm. And we had this conversation last week that, and I forget all the numbers with Mel, but I'm in the position of that, you know, people get shot, and based off the numbers I looked at, there's a higher discrepancy of whites than there is to blacks. And I really hate saying the term whites and blacks. I really hate that. Mm-hmm. And like I said before, I always try and keep on just people. But it doesn't matter. Again, when you look at the gun shootings versus the owners, the responsible owners, the shootings almost equal the same as the coronavirus, 1%. I mean, it's, and I don't know that number for a fact. I'm just saying it's so infinitesimally small when you calculate all the responsible gun owners in. That is, it proves it's not the weapon. Mm-hmm. It's the people.
Right. And people are just so on edge these days and so angry. It's just so angry.
Yes.
I agrees with you, Angel. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So angry. And, you know, it starts with the person. I agree. Mm-hmm. And, you know, people are becoming Sibyls.
People have forgotten how to have hard conversations where you can disagree and still be friends.
Agree to disagree. Exactly. Yeah, I was actually speaking to my sister, you know, who lives in Virginia, and she was talking about the same thing, that she had a so-called friend that wasn't a friend any longer, and was talking about that, you know, she's from the West Coast, and there's a lot of people on the East Coast, and when you don't talk the same language. And exactly, and she was telling these, you know, her people around her, it says, look, you know, just I need to understand what you're talking about, because in the West Coast, we don't talk like that. So what are you trying to tell me, right? We could agree to disagree. And it's just such a shame. And that's where the violence starts. You know, it erupts starting the disagreement. It's a shame. It
And
really
I'll
is.
go one deeper. I think it started when you stopped letting kids kick the crap out of each other at school.
I
When
think it
you
stopped when you couldn't hit your child. Like
we
spank.
couldn't spank them. Yeah, when you stopped telling kids they could take it out to the flagpole after school at 3:00, you lived. You lived to fight another day. You won some, you lost some. But when you took that ability away and you started publicizing all these things that were going on, all you did was put ideas in people's heads.
Well, there's a lot of things that puts ideas in their heads. I mean, look what's on the TV these days, right? Look what's on these games. Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. Don't even get me started. We got to ban Pepe Le Pew, but I can go on play Grand Theft Auto and throw a hooker out the car flying down the freeway, and it's perfectly okay.
Right?
So, quick question for Wade. So I think when one person is aggressive, it's gonna be aggressive all their life. But if you don't,
I didn't hear that last word.
He's saying that if one person is aggressive, they're aggressive all their life. So again, so the people who are watching, go ahead and share your opinions and comments.
Let's talk about this
below,
because
let him talk.
Yeah. So when you see a little kid at school, he's bullying other kids. But sometimes the school, they don't catch the problem, or when the parents, they don't make that report. For example, one of my sons, the youngest one, he got bullied, right? He was doing, but another kid was calling him names and stuff like that. So I went to the school and I make that report. So they say they're going to talk to the parents, but I really don't know if they really talk to them. I said, I want to talk to their parents. He said, no, you're not allowed. We're going to talk to them, but you cannot confront them. I said, I'm not going to confront them. I'm just going to tell them they need to stop, because if they don't stop this, that kid is going to be worse in the future. So I used to have a friend. He's an attorney. He said, I don't like attorneys. I said, yeah, but you're an attorney. He said, yeah, I don't like attorneys because we're assholes, and we're going to the school to be more assholes under the law. He said, really? He said, yeah, that's what I don't like attorneys. He said, yeah, but you're an attorney. He said, that's what I told you. I don't like attorneys. So I think same thing with the people who got the power, when they become a police or whatever, security guards, they use the power to put pressure on other people.
Mm-hmm. And Johanna,
I totally agree with that, Johanna.
Right. At this point, we need to be fighting for equality, basic human rights, respect for all life. Stop raising kids to be racist. The change has to start at home. I totally agree. Yep.
I totally agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
One day I was coming from a football game with Luis, my son. So, and I was on the freeway, and there was a guy that he was trying to pass me, but I have the right to go first. So he jumped in front of me, and I didn't let him go into. So I just said, you know what? He has to wait, Okay, I didn't know when we was like pair, my son, he said, oh my God, he's my coach.
Oh, I remember that.
So
I remember that.
So you know what? He went through a red light, and I just followed him. So I was following him, and I know he make a U-turn, and everybody make the U-turn because we gotta go to the high school. As soon as I parked and I went into San Pascual High School, I saw him in the parking lot. He was calling me names in front of every single student. So come on. So I was driving with, I think it was the Pontiac, or what was the other one? So as soon as I passed him, he threw me a punch. The only thing I did like this, and he almost hit me. So I run, but I was on the phone with the 911 with the police officer. She said, "Don't get close to him." I said, "Well, he's calling me." He said, "Well, you can go over there. Maybe he wants to apologize, but don't get closer to him." So I roll out my window, and he threw me a punch.
Did he hit you?
No. Oh, so anyway, so I told the police what happened. He said, "You know what? The police is going to be there." Okay. I was waiting, and the police never showed up. So the police meet me in another place, in a different, at the mall. I explained him what happened. He said, okay, I'm going to make that report right now. I said, perfect. So my son, he said, my son, he was freaking, he was crying and everything, I cannot tell you everything, but he was crying and so, oh my God, everybody is going to know he's my coach, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I feel so bad for my son, because my son.
But you're doing what's right.
Yeah, but my son felt so, he was fear, he was afraid of everybody, So anyway, so I show up. The police told me, you know what? Show up, go to the school and talk to the principal. So that was Friday. First thing on Monday, I came to the high school. The principal was waiting for me. As soon as I walk in the principal office, he said, Angel Aguilar. I said yes. He said, well, can you sit here? I said yes. He said, you know what? I heard everything what happened, but you know what? Don't worry. This teacher is already suspended. He's not going to work for us. Thank you very much, and good luck.
Wow, that's great.
Just
Justice,
like
yay!
But
it's a shame that it had to go down to
so
that.
I talked to my friend, the attorney, and said, you think I should make a complaint to the high school, San Pascual High School? He said, you know what? No. I said, what? He said, well, okay, let's say if you sue the high school. But remember, this coach has a lot of friends, So just think about, you have your son. Just let it happen, You want to open a can of worms? I said, no. I said, just forget it. Just take your kid to another high school, blah, 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 and done. He said, don't open a can of worms. I said, yeah, but I don't feel good. I think that the high school, they're not doing this thing right.
Justice.
He said, yeah, but you know what? Listen, this coach has a lot of friends. They're police, they're securities. So you really want something happen to your family? I said, no. He said, okay, forget it.
It's a shame that happens, right? So
this thing happened, with this Floyd, George Floyd. All these people that before they go into the academy of police, they need to know that they're not being bullied at school. So they need to go to like a filter, to make sure they don't abuse of their power. I'm sorry to tell you guys this, but it's too long. But
no, I like it. You know why? Because I heard something very interesting there, which you don't hear very often, which is what I want to have people understand. And for some reason, people always want to make it a race thing. And granted, there's racial issues there, but not one time in your story, did I hear you say this white man, this black man, this Mexican. You just talked about a man. And that's what I believe needs to happen more and more. We need to stop talking about the black man and the white cop, or the black cop and the white man.
Or the Jewish guy.
The cop and a man.
Right.
It doesn't matter his skin color. He's dead. He's just as dead as anybody else because a cop did something wrong.
Correct. I agree.
So regardless of the racial implication, which there is a racial implication, don't get me wrong, let's not keep bringing it up by acknowledging it. Well, no, that's not the right way to put it. We need to acknowledge it, but we don't need to keep blowing it up in the media. We don't need to keep making it so big to sell shows, to sell commercials, to get ratings.
Mm-hmm.
At the basis of it, we have a man who did something wrong that cost another man his life. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple. Right. That's the basis of it. That's how it should be viewed and it should be judged. Right. As a man who cost another man his life. A man took a swing at another man. A woman ran another woman over.
Again, just be human. Be humane again, right? It's the world is just going crazy. It really is.
It is. Yep. And over here on the East Coast, we hear, and this is going to sound bad, but I don't have enough way to put it. We hear the race card pulled so much for everything. I got 6 nuggets instead of 7. It's because I'm black, isn't it?
Oh my God.
That was a news story recently. There was a guy that got fired from a landscaping company because he was only half Mexican. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? You got fired from the landscaping company because you drove through the lady's bushes. It had nothing to do with your race, but you pulled the race card. And people get in arguments all the time. And when people don't agree, they pull the race card because it's such an easy card to pull nowadays because so many people are so sensitive about it instead of stepping back and saying, okay, you're a crap worker. You're getting fired because you do crap work. You know, I'm sorry you didn't get the right amount of nuggets. Let me fix that for you. It has nothing to do with your race. It's a scoop. I mean, I thought I counted 7. You got 6. I'm sorry. You know, these are the conversations that we are wasting our time, money, and effort that we could be redirecting to so many better things in the world than arguing over, was it a racial thing about 6 nuggets?
Right.
No, it was lunchtime, you dumb bitch. It was a rush.
And where's the proper talk these days too, right? I mean,
Right?
even when you're talking to somebody, it's like, just talk properly. Why can't you do that? Nicely to each other. Oh, it's unbelievable.
It is so bad. And I really wish Mel was here right now because I know she'd be able to put a good spin on this. And that's a wrong way to put it too, to put an understanding on this, on why we cannot have these conversations in that way, why it always has to be down to some sort of racial motivation.
Well, I think most people are just being so fed up about being so fed up. That's what it is. It's about being fed up of everything that's been going on for the past year or more.
Or more, yeah. And I'm not saying that there is not racial inequality. There is. I'm not saying that there's not gender equality or inequality. There is.
Of course.
What I'm saying is to get past that, we need to get past that.
Right. I agree. And
I'm going to step it a step further. If me and you have the same job, Sohaila, we should be paid based off of our skills, based off what we have. It's not a matter of a woman and it's not a matter of a man.
Exactly.
Stop making it about that. It's somebody is not being compensated equitably.
Right. I'm not agree with you.
You're not going to agree?
No.
Why?
Okay.
Because my wife, if she's bilingual, I will pay her more.
Oh,
well, okay. Well, that's
now we're starting up. Just so you know.
I agree with that. If you're bilingual, you should be paid more, of course.
Yeah.
But if just being a man and a woman and you're having the same pay and I don't get the same pay as you doing the same job, that's
wrong.
That's wrong. Right.
Yeah.
But I could see if you are bilingual, then I could see you getting paid more.
Absolutely. If me and you were doing the exact same job and your skill set, one thing you have above me or in addition to yours is bilingual, then you should get paid more. It has nothing to do with being male or female. It has nothing to do with black or white or Mexican or anything else.
I was driving. I mean, this is a little bit different, but I don't want to jump different things. But I was driving I was working in Temecula, and I called this place. They call Aztec Tacos. So I said, hey, in Spanish. She said, I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish. So it's a Mexican restaurant. See, that's the problem. And I'm not agreeing with you when you drink because you drink cheap stuff.
Oh, that is not cheap stuff. Are you cheating me? This is not cheap.
No, because he has the same
I
bottle.
He
refilled the bottle with another stuff. No, just
We're coming over tonight. We're getting on the next plane.
Okay.
So you come on over. Look, I got some. I am an equal opportunity bourbon guy.
Right.
All right. So I have Irish. I have Scotch. I've got American. I've got all sorts of stuff. So.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah. You drink that one with the straw or with the glass?
Oh, with a glass and.
Oh.
On the rock, straight up.
No, straight.
Straight up.
There are so many theories about this, and there's so many schools of thought. All right. Some people say add water, it releases the texture and the flavors. No. Some people say add ice. No. Me, I drink it at room temperature, straight up the way it's supposed to be. But if you notice, I drink a respectable amount. I don't fill a glass like a raging alky.
I'm gonna get my Modelos right now.
So yeah, Johanna, she is telling you to share.
Yeah.
But you do have a group of people who have experienced so much injustice, of course, in this system.
Of course. And we're not saying that you haven't.
Not getting any lighter.
I think the best way to move past it is to stop focusing on the racial part and focus on what's wrong. I'm not being paid equitably. I'm not being treated the same.
I agree.
Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we water down the issue so much when we toss race into it.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody starts talking about race and they start talking about how, it's been so bad for so long and, oppression and all these other things. Yeah, it happened. It did. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
Right.
The only thing you can do about it is what you can do right now, right here. Right. So is it really a racial issue if you're not being paid the same? No, it's not. It's not a racial issue because you got 6 nuggets instead of 7. It's not. But people keep saying, well, I've been treated so bad my entire life and treated so unfairly, it must be this. Well, that's not always the case. It could just be simply the case of someone was wronged and it had nothing to do with racism.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I can tell you this right now.
Going to the extreme.
You cannot find someone anymore at an at-will employment state without having this much paperwork because the first thing they do is they scream some sort of inequality or racism. Mm-hmm. No, we have to prove you're a dumbass. You can't do your job, and you haven't been able to do your job for 6 months. We've told you repeatedly that you can't do your job.
Well, what's happening, too, is people really need to cover their asses. And so that's why you have paperwork this thick these days. That's the issue.
How are they going to cover their asses with a big...
Because they have to cross the I's or cross the T's and dot those I's for every single little thing now. I mean...
I worked for a company once that... So you had a 3 write-up process, right? So you had your verbal, your written, and your final. But you had to write up the verbal so that you had documentation that you had a verbal.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. That's crazy.
That made me want to beat my head against the wall when I heard
and you had to write down what they said too. So it's actually documented. I know.
Yes.
I know.
It is that stupid nowadays, and it's because of all of this.
Because you have to cover your ass. In fact, I just started getting back into real estate, and we just put in an offer for a piece of land yesterday, as a matter of fact. And literally every time I spoke with the potential buyer, every time whatever he says, I had to write it down to document it and email it to the manager. It's like, wow, because you need to cover your butt.
Mm-hmm. What's your land prices out there right now?
Pretty cheap.
What's
the prices?
The what prices?
Your land prices right now.
Oh, well, this is going for $750.
For how much land?
For almost 2 acres, like 1.3.
Oh my God.
But this is in Rancho Santa Fe. This is in Cielo. That's why. On the hill, way on the hill. That's why. On the top of the hill. So
I can buy 6 acres down the street for $49.
Can you bring me those over here to California?
I can see the acreage for $50,000 over there.
Don't get me started with the housing here. Okay, we're moving on now. So the price, it's a seller's market over here. I tell you, if somebody's selling the house, they will get multiple offers literally in less than an hour. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. And people are going above and beyond just to get that house. They're even going over $100K more to make an offer for that same house. It's crazy.
We're short in housing.
Well, that's an interesting thing because we're having the same problem out here, and people cannot find housing. People have been searching for months because it's a seller's market. Yep. But why is it such a seller's market in the pandemic when everybody's out of work?
Low interest rates. Guess what they're doing with those checks, those unemployment checks? I think they're saving up, right? Say, let's get a house, right? Yeah.
So that makes me leery though.
Right? It's
because
scary.
all of a sudden we have these low
Cut
interest
on
rates
to-
and we're giving everybody I'm not saying we're giving everybody loans, but I'm just going to say we're giving everybody loans to go get houses because it's a seller's market because we want to boost the economy. What's going to happen when these people are buying houses they can't afford?
Well, again, it's still not stated loans, so you have to prove your income still. So yeah, it's.
But all these people are out of work; they don't have any income.
I know, right? They're doing something. They're being creative.
That really worries me.
Yeah, because you're just thinking for like $800,000 house around here. That's the average around here. It's crazy. For a 20% down, even at a 3%, I mean, you're still looking at $2,500 a month, if not more. Plus, you have the property taxes, which is about 10 grand a year.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't see how people are doing it either. I really don't. But there's money out there. There is money out there, believe it or not.
Yeah, if our economy is destroyed because everybody's shut down and everybody's living on the stimulus, how are all these people affording houses?
I know. I agree. And now what's going to happen with the, what is it called? A moratorium? What is it? When the eviction is, the notice is lifted. Wow. There's going to be a lot of people on the streets, And
I think Joanna's right. I think there's going to be a crash in the market.
Soon.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's going to be, I agree. And it's going to be a buyer's market.
That's why you need to buy a house here as soon as possible. Wait.
Not for this
Let
price.
me explain to you my house here. I have 2 acres. I have close to 3,000 square feet on the main house. I have 3 outbuildings out on the property that all have power and everything else. Matter of fact, my office is one of them. And I bought everything for $189.
Oh my God. We're moving. We're getting over there. We're going.
Why in the hell would I spend $800K to be able to knock on my neighbor's window and say, can I borrow some tea in my shorts?
Well, the problem is it's so cheap there is because there is no mariachis up there. All the mariachis live in California. So
mariachis, yeah.
So that's why it's so expensive in California.
Yeah, so I don't understand how. So let's not talk about races with this. Let's just say the low income. All right. So the low income individuals across the U.S. right now that are the predominant people saying that they need the stimulus, that are the predominant people out of work, that are the predominant people saying we need the help. How is this helping them? How is lowering the interest rate and it being a buyer's market or seller's market, how is that helping them now and in the future?
Well, it's
Isn't that setting people up to fail?
Yeah, but that's not who is buying either, though. The people
Right.
it's going to be crazy. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's not going to be pretty.
So what you're seeing is you're seeing people who are better educated that come from a maybe a better employment background. They're the ones buying the houses right now, not the people that are out of work.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's a variety because, people this last year, people has made money through e-commerce. They had to shift and be creative of what they're doing, and they actually made money. So I think these are the people that are actually going out there buying. Where I'm at, where I actually am selling, these are people who have money already. So I'm not, that's where I cater to, Rancho Santa Fe. But I don't know how people are making it. And even when I go onto Facebook, people are even asking, that they overbid 83K and they still got turned down. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah, how high was that bid?
Wrong, right? So people are saying, okay, well, waive the appraisal fee and put more money down. So people are suggesting things. It's like, God, you got to do what you got to do, I guess. But do you really want that house bad enough? I guess if you do, you're going to do something. You're going to be creative.
Well, you've also overvalued at that point, right?
Very much so. Oh my goodness. there's manufactured homes here that, they used to be like $12,000. Now they're going for $300,000, $400,000 for a manufactured home. Yes. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it is crazy. And people are scooping everything up, literally, like I said, literally within hours. Multiple offers.
So the last time I was in California was about, I don't know, 8, 9 years ago. And I remember sitting on the 5 South in San Diego, sitting in traffic, and there was a sign up on the hill. And it said, you could be home now for only $999,000.99. I was like, you cocksuckers, you had to put 99 cents on there, didn't you?
It's a marketing. So Joanna's saying it's not helping them. This has nothing to do with those who are truly in need. Exactly, it's not.
Yeah.
And that comes down to homeless now too. I mean, there's just more homeless these days too, and there's going to be even more if they stop that eviction process, or if they start that eviction process, because what is people to do? And the thing is, I can see both sides, because as landlords, if they have to pay mortgage, well, they're still going to have to pay no matter what. If their renters aren't paying, well, they still have to pay. So if you're not letting the renters pay, if you have that eviction moratorium, whatever it's called, they should, the bank should actually stop too. And I know they have the forbearance, but guess what? That's going to tack on too at the end, right? So again, the renters should be able to tack on at the end too. But I don't know. It's a big mess,
Mm-hmm. And then you hit the nail on the head, because that's a whole nother question. When this eviction moratorium ends, people who you least suspect may be the people on the street. And what I mean by that is, so you have low income people, right? You have low income families. And these families are struggling. They're doing everything they can in this pandemic to get by, and they may not be paying rent. All right, cool. I think there needs to be something in place where there needs to be some sort of staged or distributed repayment, for lack of a better term. So if that landlord gets a forbearance to the end of the loan, then that not having to pay should also go to that renter.
I agree.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say that landlord can't get a forbearance to the end of the loan.
Right, exactly.
Which is a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say they say, no, you owe us for, and I'm just going to pull a number out of my butt. Let's say $10,000. You owe us for 10 grand. Okay. So now that he's got to go to these people that are renting and say, you owe me 10 grand, or you got to get out on the street, because I can't afford to pay it for you.
Right.
So you got to pay it, or you got to go.
Right.
So there should be some sort of ability to, I don't know, and I don't know all the details. Let's just say again, I'm just pulling numbers. Let's say you add an extra $100 a month onto their monthly rent. So it starts again when the moratorium is over. You got an extra $100 added to your rent until it's paid up, and then it goes back to whatever it was, $200 or whatever they come to an agreement with.
Sure.
The first solution should not be putting people on the street.
I agree. Yep, exactly, Johanna, exactly. Yes, it's a big mess. It really is, because they can't just cater to the renters. They definitely have to cater to the landlord too. And of course, I mean, the landlords could have a mortgage, or they could have house free and clear, but still, you still have the bills, and it's just not right. Yeah.
You can't say, no, I can't fix your water heater as a landlord because you haven't been paying me. You can't say, no, you're leaking roof. I don't have any money coming in. You still have to provide by law for those renters.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that takes money.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen. Why don't you guys share your comments below? What do you think is going to happen after this eviction notice is depleted? What's going to happen? I think there's going to be a lot of
Mel's here. She's got all this information in this background.
I know. She's always here. Well, this has been fun. It's been really fun. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about the trial of the year. Well, I hope it's just the trial of the year and there's not a new one coming. Well, actually, there will be. There's going to be 2 more trials with the other 2 cops. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you know when those are going to start?
No, I don't. But in my personal opinion, I think the partners should be held to. I think anybody, not just the partners, but anybody who stands by and witnesses a crime happen,
And
their punishment should be higher if they chose not to do anything about it.
Interesting.
Now, within reason, if the person who actually killed someone gets death, I'm not saying put the person who witnessed it to death. But if the person who did something wrong gets 2 years, I think you should give the witness 3.
Well, I think it would be accessory to murder. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Accessory to manslaughter.
I think there needs to be a punishment greater for someone who chose not to intercede than the person who actually did it. I know that sounds weird, but
that's interesting thought, though. What are your thoughts, guys out there? What are your thoughts that what Wade just said? Go ahead and comment below. What do you think about that?
I mean, there's a lot of things happening in the world, and I think there's the issue with George Floyd. It's a good news,
about the cops being just watching over and didn't do anything. What do you think?
Should
they be accountable?
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you see someone is about to kill another person, you should say something. Hey, stop! You're hurting the guy.
Yeah, I mean, now there is exception if your life is in immediate danger too, and you choose not to do anything. That's an understandable thing. I'm not saying not everybody's going to run towards the gunfire.
But this is what happened.
But at the same time, if you've got time and effort, like the police who's kneeling on his neck, you have the time to stop him and the ability to stop him, and you chose not to. You should have a higher consequence.
But you know what? You know why he didn't stop the guy, his partner? Because they do this almost all the time. It's it's normal for them.
That's the problem. Mm-hmm. And you have the other problem too is, so there's a trust factor. Just like anywhere. And I'm not saying that all cops are bad in any way, shape, or form. Please, I love the police. I back the blue. Part of our program at Smoke and Bacon is for first responders. We love our police. But industry-wide, not just police, but everywhere, construction, everything, your co-workers that you are close with, that you're partners with, you will cover for them. Whether it's they're late for work or they installed something wrong or they kneeled on someone's neck when they shouldn't have. There's that trust there between 2 people that they don't want to break, which is a problem.
Yep. And look what happened to Johanna brought it up with Dante Wright case right there. I mean, come on, with the gun and the what is it, the taser on the same side. Come on, you knew exactly.
That was negligence. Period.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
Definitely negligence. I will say in the video though, like I said last week, she realizes she done fucked up. After the gun goes off, you can see her pull it back and look at it and go, oh my God, that was not my taser. You can see that she actually recognized it at that point. It's too late at that point. So that tells me it wasn't premeditated. It tells me that she didn't do it on purpose. She was negligent on how she had her duty belt, though, which allowed that to happen, which means she needs to be held responsible for that.
And Johanna's saying we have some excellent cops out there putting
their
their lives on the line.
But let me tell you, when you play sports and when you really want to kick someone in soccer, everything happens really fast.
Right.
So they know, you know what you're gonna do. So don't tell me that she make a mistake. I would
have to completely disagree on that. And the reason I say that, Angel, is have you ever been lost in your mind when you drive to work and you don't realize that you made it to work or how you got there?
Yep.
That's called muscle memory. It happens all the time. Have you ever been doing a task like
And I
installing
know,
a wall,
I know what
and
I'm
you do it
touching.
all the time?
I know what I'm touching. Even if I close my eyes, I know where it is. Where it is. Come on.
Yes, at that moment, you're right. You know what you're touching. But in the heat of the moment, your muscle memory engages and you do what you've been trained to do repeatedly over and over. And in her case, she was trained for her taser on her side that she reached for. In her case, her duty belt wasn't set up right. So instead of the taser, she got her pistol, which were both on the same side. Yeah, they feel different after the event.
So she put the belt on the ground side. So she made a mistake before.
Yeah.
She made the mistake.
So she
So-
immediately
So she's
resigned.
guilty.
Yes.
Because she make a
She's
mistake.
guilty. You can see it in the video when she pulls back after the shot and she looks at her gun and you can see that she recognized, oh shit, that's not what was supposed to happen.
You know, I carry 2 phones.
Okay.
And I know what's the difference. This is more thin. Same size, everything, you know, but this is more thin. I know what I have. If I put it like this way, I can feel the difference. I know.
It's not quite the same. I understand what you're saying. It's not quite the same though.
But
Well,
a
you
ta- but a
understand.
taser
You
isn't
understand
as
what I'm
heavy
saying,
as a
but you don't want to
pistol.
accept it. So it's 2 different things.
So at no point in your life or your career will you be in a position where you have to pull your phone in a life or death emergency to use that phone against someone. You may have to pull it to call 911, and it doesn't matter which phone you pull to call 911. But you'll never be in a position where you have to use a specific phone out of a specific pocket to protect someone's life.
Okay, let's go to the next thing.
So, yeah, I mean, she was wrong.
That's a good.
understand,
Okay,
but
that's a good
so-
example. Wait, okay.
Johanna
Yeah.
says, I understand, but as a trained police officer, there is no room for mistakes. She is guilty. She took someone's life, and she's going to live with that for her whole life. I totally agree. And I still agree
Can you
that
read that again?
a laser or you know, that gun with a pistol, it's quite different. It's one's heavier than
When
the
you're
other.
not
Come
in the
on.
heat of the moment, yes.
Yeah. And
When you're
again,
not in the heat of the
it
moment.
shouldn't have even been over there. So
It shouldn't have been there to begin with. If it wasn't there to begin with, if her pistol was on her opposite side like she was supposed to, we wouldn't be having this conversation because her
Why
muscle
would she
memory would engage, she would have grabbed her
why
taser.
would she butt into something when there wasn't even need to
Okay,
escalate
If
that?
it's
That's
She-
a whole
if
different
she-
story.
if
That's
she
a whole
knows,
different
if she knows that was a taser, why don't she shoot him on the legs? Why in the stomach?
because they're trained to shoot center mass not only with a weapon but with a taser. Because you have 2 prongs that come out, and the greatest chance of hitting someone is in the torso, not in the leg with both prongs.
Oh,
Same thing with a bullet, to be honest with you. So they're trained for center mass, just like the military, just like the police. But again, in the moment, why she was engaged in that conversation or that action is a whole different thing that needs to be addressed.
Mhm.
But in the moment, her negligence by having her pistol on her wrong side allowed for this event to happen.
Oh, he's looking at your TV up top.
Oh yeah, all them, yeah. Those are all of our veteran hosts that do all their streaming on Smoke and Bacon platform.
Oh, okay.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
So they run around the clock up there. All of our partners, all of our hosts, all that.
That's awesome.
Well, the first time I know, now you tell me, that's why they had to shoot, because there's 2 needles that come out of them.
So yeah, I mean,
Proximity with exactly.
if her weapon had been on the proper side and she had reached with her right hand to where her taser was, it would have been a taser. It wouldn't have been a gun.
Mm-hmm.
But because she had both on the same side, she grabbed the first item that she's trained to grab off that side, that muscle memory engaged. She didn't go, oh, wait a minute, that's my pistol. Oh, there's my taser, or vice versa. That's not what happens.
Yeah, and he was about to shoot out of there. That's why. And they wanted to
Yeah.
stop him. Mm-hmm. I say, just go. You would have got him sooner or later.
Well, that's why I think that's why a lot of people give up pursuits now because of the risk.
Remember one day they was saying that they can shoot something to the car, like a piece of like a plate or like a sensor. Then they can follow them wherever they go. What
Like a
happened with that?
tracking bug or something?
Yes, What happened with that technology? Why they still chasing criminals on the street, putting a lot of people in risk?
I'm sure it has something to do with privacy laws or something. I'm sure there's some lawyer out there that figured out a way to stop that.
Right.
Okay.
Johanna says the whole situation was handled wrongly. I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
So there's so much to dissect in that situation, between the stop, between the original officer's interaction, between why she got involved, the negligence on her belt, and then what happened afterwards. There's so many individual sections that have to be sliced up and taken a look at. I don't think you could ever look at that entire situation as one whole situation.
Right. Well, you know what happens too is, the police go in there with full force and just not being nice about things either. I mean, you escalate it easily when you're starting to yell at people too. Why don't they learn how to just calm down and calm the other person down somewhat, right? Why can't they just do that?
Well, let's think about that for a second. All right, so you spend your day dealing with, let's just say, and I'm just going to pull some numbers here. I don't know what they are. Let's just say you spend your day 50-50. 50% dealing with the worst dredges of society, the drug dealers, the murderers, the giant pieces of crap every single day. And the other 50% are just regular people, you and me, speeding tickets. We need help. We need someone to settle a dispute. You're getting involved in a domestic situation where a husband and wife are yelling at each other over cheese or some shit. Every day that wears on you. And I can see how these guys are like, you know what? At this point, I'm just going to be an asshole straight out the bat. There's no reason to be nice and just yelled at and spit at and everything else. I mean, an officer never knows what's going to happen on a call. They never know when they walk up to a car what they're going to experience. There was that police officer the other day that got chemicals thrown in his face for a regular traffic stop.
Wow.
He just walked up, said hello, and the person threw chemicals in his face.
Oh my gosh.
And then drove off. They never know what's going to happen when they knock on a door or anything else. So I can understand why they don't take the time to be nice. They take the time to control the situation so that they can figure out what's going on. And by controlling the situation, you control the people in the situation. So, putting people in handcuffs until they're deemed safe. I can understand that. I can understand wanting to pull people out of cars that aren't cooperating. You don't know if they're trying to go for a gun, a knife, chemicals. I can understand that. But after the situation is at a point at which you have control, then you need to step down. Then you need to calm down. If you have to, bring in another police officer or something and have those conversations.
Yeah.
But having Mr. Rogers go up and try and shut down a 300-pound drunk, methed up, naked guy on the street, that ain't going to work.
I agree.
So,
that reminds me. So I was a sheriff explorer when I was in college, and that's what I wanted to be. I actually wanted to be a cop. And I remember doing a ride-along when there used to be ride-alongs. It was a lot of fun. And I always remembered the one guy that was taking me out for a ride-along. He started talking to me, and I started talking and chatting. And literally, he took me to the boonies, and he stopped the car. And he says, "Where are we?" And I said, "Oh, shit." And I'm looking around. He says, "You're dead." So always know your surroundings. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you pull a car over in the boonies, you get out, you walk up to them and ask them for their license, and they start shooting at you. So people are mad. They walk up to the car, they already got their hand on their pistol. Well, no shit.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, what a lot of people don't understand is when any police officer stops a car, they usually touch the back of the car. Do you know why they touch the back of the car as they're walking up? So that their fingerprints are on that car. So if anything happens to them at that traffic stop, that vehicle can be tied back to what happened.
Oh, wow. I never knew that. Look at
So
that.
think about that. Think about just walking up to a car to give a ticket, and you have to remember to touch the back of that vehicle, to put your fingerprints on it, because you don't know what's about to happen in the next couple seconds.
Good to know. Good to know.
But I mean, honestly, think about that. Think about having that kind of life when you go to work.
Mm-hmm. Good to know.
So I can understand how some of these things happen in the moment. But after the moment's over, you need to step back and you need to readdress.
Right. Very good. Well, we've covered a lot tonight, guys, and we surely missed Mel. Oh my goodness, you had more to say. I know that, and lots more to come. But thank you guys for watching tonight, and I'm going to have you sign off with what you are up to. What are you doing, Wade?
Well, we have so much going on. It's insane. We have Project Legends going on. We have some veteran some charities that we're working with right now. And we just got approved for a national day in October, which will go on all the calendars. And I'll tell you more about that in the next coming weeks.
Cool. And you guys know that I started real estate again. So I've had my real estate license for over 21 years, and it's time to start using it again. Perfect timing. Yes, I still do belly dancing. So I'm your belly dance real estate specialist. A lot of fun. And Angel, what are you doing?
Well, I start my car wash business again. So what?
He has a single. He has a single thing. He just washed my mom's car tonight.
How do you wash cars in California? You're not allowed to use water.
Right?
No.
But he has a Cinco de Mayo festival coming up.
You cannot prove that.
You can't prove that.
You have to prove it.
Oh, man. Well, this has been a great 1 hour panel talk, guys. So we are always here every Tuesday nights. Whether you like it or not, we're still here. We're having a fun time doing this. And sometimes we argue. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we don't see eye to eye. But we still love each other.
Absolutely.
I just want to add something to Wade. The Univision and Televisa, the bigger channel network, they got bought by Google.
They were bought by Google.
Five
television network.
Univision in Mexico. Univision and Televisa was bought by Google. So
for
guess what?
$5 billion.
For $5 billion, and guess what? All the YouTubers in Mexico, they're done.
Oh, they're cooked.
They're cooked.
Done.
What a shame. Yep. They're gone. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
Because they cannot handle what Mexican president is doing.
This should be interesting. Google bought television stations.
Yeah.
In Mexico, of all places.
Right?
I wonder if they own here in the U.S. Now I got to do sleuthing.
Yeah.
So I think you have to go into Mexico now.
Mexico?
Yeah,
Smoke and Bacon should be started. Yeah,
look,
Mexico.
Yeah, we're worldwide. Anybody can come to us, but you don't want us to come to you, okay? Because the only thing we know is 2 beers, please, and where's the bathroom? And I need to use the yeah, that's pretty much it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, we will see you guys all next week on Tuesday. And in fact, we actually have to get Mel in studio now. We need to start doing in studio. Got to get her back over here in studio, back over here, and start our Power Hour panel talks here.
She has a studio.
I know, but it'd be fun to be together.
Okay.
I think it would be.
You can't come over there. She's a zombie now. She got the shot.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Mel's a traitor. I mean, no, she got the shot.
Okay.
Just kidding. She actually had to get the shot because she travels a lot now and she likes to go around filming, so she needs it.
Hasta la vista.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you again so much for being here. We will see everybody next Tuesday. Same Bat Channel, same time.
Same time.
Bye, guys.
Same people.
Same people. Bye.
You can go ahead and end it now.